All right, everybody. Hello. My name is Brent Burton. I'm sitting at home in the backyard enjoying a little bit of off time. And like I promised, I was going to come to you and give you a little something on being an owner op in the 21st century, owner operator, owning a truck, something that you can call your own and you gain your own responsibilities on. First of all, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you for watching my previous videos and responses. It's just phenomenal how I can see how some of the Kardashians and some of the other people that get millions of hits on their YouTube or their Twitter accounts and everything get so um, I wouldn't say big headed, but them folks get a little big headed. I got a little measly, a few like 20,000 hits, and I'm thinking like people are recognizing me at the terminals and all that. I'm ready to put the sunglasses on and sign autographs. Absolutely means nothing, but it is such an excitement when I get a student in the truck and they tell me that how it has been a help. Something that I did because I simply, as I was considering going into this industry, considering going into driving, I needed some answers because with a little bit of information, you can do so much with. You can make some good choices, or you can make some solid choices on what direction you want to go. Getting a little wind picked up, got to anchor some things down. But anyway, I want to thank you for those who watched. Thank you for those who have that have responded and some correspondence, and thanks to you that have watched and corresponded to just within yourself. So that's what it's all about. A small industry, this trucking industry is, regardless of the company you're working for, regardless of the which direction, we're all putting it down the road. We're all staying between the lines. We're all trying to keep all the tires on the ground instead of getting them up in the ground, up in the sky. If your tires get up in the sky, you're in a very bad position. So I suggest you keep those tires on the ground and you keep between those lines. Listen, as I came into this industry, I had no driving experience. You can watch some other videos, some of the things we talked about. But I knew from the beginning that I wanted to own my own business. I knew I wanted to be an owner operator. What I didn't have is any of the questions answered. Nobody, the owner operators, I mean, they were like clammed up. They wouldn't say how much they're making, how much they're getting paid, what's the real deal. And I didn't know what the secret was. But then as I've come along now, I kind of know what it is because some people are making money and a whole lot aren't. So I wanted to attract myself to those that were making some money and listen to those who were not. So I wouldn't duplicate those folks. I want to duplicate guys over here that are making money. So I, after driving some time with Swift as a company driver, you had to drive for a short period of time before you become eligible to become an owner operator. So at that time, they were paying like 35 cents, 34, 35 cents a mile. And I knew the owner operators were getting paid $1.10, $1.12, up to $1.18 a mile. So every mile I drove, the margin between the 35-cent and the $1.18 I was counting as a loss. So it was just making me sick inside. And I said, we need to make more. We need to make more money. I'm losing money. So what I was able to do is, because of the amount of miles I've driven, I think I drove, I don't know what it was. I might have been 100,000 miles, 100 some odd thousand miles that I've driven, that I became a little eligible a little earlier to become an owner operator with Swift. Every other company is going to be different. So in my experiences, even as a company driver, one of the things I needed to make sure, I needed to create a habit. I needed to create getting from point A to point B, getting there, getting the deliveries, having no service failures, not being late, driving safely, and getting as many loads done as possible as a company driver. Because even as a company driver, you are still yet independent. There's nobody in that cab. There's nobody telling you how to do A, B, and C. If your truck doesn't roll, you don't get paid. So you're really in business for yourself, but yet you have some things that protect you that the company's making more money off of. So the only difference that I see from becoming from a company driver and going into the owner operator as the atmosphere inside my trunk is that now it's mine, and now the decisions are much more serious, but yet the habit and the mentality is the same, because if you don't drive, you don't get paid. I don't want to sit in the rest stop all weekend. I don't want to sit and wait on a load for the next load. I'm going to be proactive and do the things I need to do to get the loads to get me down the road. All right. I hope that I'm keeping this very basic. I hope I'm keeping this very, very simple. All righty. So once I became eligible, in the opinion of Swift, to become an owner operator, what I did was I looked, and I didn't know what I was looking for. All I knew was I wanted the raise. So here's what I'll let you know. I took a look at the truck, looked at the contract, looked at the things that they were offering, looked at my responsibility, a 36-month, 48-month, whatever the contract called for. But I knew one thing. I know with new comes warranty. And with warranty, when things break down, you just take it in and you get it fixed under warranty. And I know with old, you take on more risk and you have to pay more things out of your pocket. So I've always been one, I like the guarantee, I like the warranty. So I wanted something new. So I took on a new, my first truck was a 2014 KW 610. Beautiful truck, beautiful, cayenne blue. I mean, the thing just was brilliant. And so I knew that I had the top of the line truck with warranties that keep me going down the road. Okay, now I'm gonna throw you for a loop. My second truck is a 2016 KW 610. Also brand new. So when things go down on those trucks, I go straight to warranty. When you have a warranty, those are dollars out of your pocket you have to pay for. When I've looked at my first truck and considered what I was going to do and how I was going to do, one thing was, number one, the warranty. The second thing was I noticed that the cost was $610 a week plus another $100 topped on top of that, which was which brought me to $710. And then there's performance bonuses, and then there's a down payment, but it's all inclusive. Now let me stop right here about going that route. You are a CDL driver. And this, if you're new, this is for you. If you don't have 2 years of a CDL license, 2 years of verifiable, this is the bottom line, verifiable miles and of driving, there is no respect in the industry yet for you as a driver. Because the first thing I kind of did before I went to take on Swift, I looked at, and I did bring the, every truck stop has got these little things. You've seen them before. I went, I looked through those things. I'm trying to find, I saw trucks for $20,000. I saw them for $50,000. I seen ads for doing the financing. I saw all of that. But when I went to consider it and I went to start taking a look at it, I couldn't get insured. I couldn't get financing. I have pretty good credit. I have, credit's not bad. I can pretty much go by what we drive a pretty car, you know, but in the trucking industry, they don't care about that. They want to know how long your CDL is. And they want to know how many loads you pulled across, because that's going to gauge your years of experience. So what I've done, I couldn't get a good, I got a, I would say Progressive, 2014, about October of 2014. I got a quote for insurance. Deposit was $9,000, and then they want $2,500 a month for the insurance. I'm like, wow, I got a pretty good driving record, but I didn't have any experience on the truck. Financing companies didn't want to finance me on buying a truck because I hadn't been in the industry long enough. So let me say this: those of you that are Swift, Crete, ER England, JB Hunt, whoever it is, this lease option is a program for you the beginner to get established and establish yourself. It is not something that's concrete that you have to stay with throughout your whole year. But what a beautiful opportunity to get in a brand new truck and call it your own and go to work with. Now here's this. If you listen to the terminal talk, I call it terminal roundtables, because every terminal you go to, I don't care if you're Swift, I don't care if you're JB Hunt, I don't care if you're England or what, they got the people that know everything and absolutely have no clue about how wrong they are. But they will argue with you until the end of the day that they're right. Let me first qualify myself. 2015, did $300,000 in gross revenue. Drove 250,000 miles. Oh, I got my papers here. 250,000 miles for the year. Actually, I'm sorry, 281,000 miles. So $300,000 in my first full year of driving. If I would have listened to the folks on the first day when I came to orientation, and I'll tell you, I was at Swift, and I don't know where she came from. I don't think she's a representative of what they all think or feel, but she came into the orientation about 30 and 40, so about, oh, you don't want to be an owner operator because you got to pay for all this, and that. Yeah, it's a shame. She goes, she's so right, except for the fun part about what you don't want to be. Because I want to be an owner operator. Did $300,000. Did I get to keep the whole $300,000? Oh, heck no. I didn't keep. I had so many bills. I ended up spending $189,000. I might as well call that 180. It's a 189, 958. So I might as well call that $190,000. I had to put back into the business. But what I did keep is $112,000. And some change. My first full year of driving. You get a $148,000 truck. You can buy 2 Subway franchises for that. The only difference is how many sandwiches do you have to sell to make $100,000 clear cash flow? You can buy Subway franchise for that dollar amount of what your truck costs, but actually 2. And you still got to buy lettuce. You still got to buy bread. You got to buy the oven to cook the bread in. You got to get the employees. You got to get that stuff in fresh. You got to stay open inside your building and pay the lease and hope a Quiznos or a KFC doesn't open up across the street and take your lunch rush away. You're going into business, so you understand it costs money to open up a business. So it's just, what kind of business do you want to open up? I didn't see much profit in sandwiches. I said, for my happiness, that's a whole lot of sandwiches. And I don't know that many people that eat sandwiches. There's probably a lot because there's Quiznos, there's Subway, there's Firehouse, there's, New York streets, New York. There's delis all up and down the roads. But so all I know is it's just not enough. I need to do a little better than sandwiches. So if you're able to keep a third in the early stages of your business, then it's worth doing the business. Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts. As an owner op, as I told you, we grossed $300,713. There are a number of things that you have to take consideration in, and it's that that's your tractor payments. There are your maintenance. There are some maintenance fees, and there's a performance bond. There's insurances that come out. There's some companies charge you for different items, like for your pre-passes. They may charge you for your com data services. They may charge you for your they're going to definitely charge you for insurance and the different liabilities. And so there's quite a few things that are going to be charged for you. They're going to charge you for fuel. Let me tell you something. In my fuel costs, that $189,958 is a accumulation of different costs. So I think a couple of you all asked me this, and I want to get this answered for you. For my fuel, I spent just in fuel, actually $98,427. And fuel is a real cost. And if you can get your fuel down to less than 30% of your cost per load, you're doing very well, because the average people are 45, almost 50% of their cost in driving is the fuel. So I'm not saying don't fuel up, but just be conscientious of the cost of fuel. Now, in working with Swift right now, there's some things that I had no clue. I made a mistake. I mean, I don't know if I call it a mistake. My contract says that I get a fuel surcharge. Every business pays a fuel surcharge. Now, at that time when I went into business, my fuel surcharge was, fuel was almost $5 a gallon for diesel fuel. $4.65. I mean, and our fuel surcharge, we're getting like 27 cents, 28 cents a gallon for every mile. I mean, every mile we drove as a fuel surcharge. But the reality is now, diesel fuel is $1.69. So those fuel surcharges are no longer relevant. You can't count them as a help in your fuel or additional, because those checks look good. They look good. But now, under my contract, I don't know about others, I can only speak for myself, I lose money every mile I drive because of fuel surcharge. Who would have known that fuel is going to go under $2 a gallon? And in my contract, it has me paying negative under $2. Remember, I went in at about almost $4. I mean, just over $4 a gallon. Now, so that's a thorn in my side. Maybe the fuel go back up, maybe it won't. But it's a cost on my end, and it's tragic. It will never happen again. But that's just where I am. I can't complain. I can't blame Swift, because I can't blame it. They have no control over the fuel, but they have control over what I signed an agreement on. So you just have to be conscientious and understand what's great about this is I know where that cost is, and I know I need to do something about it. So in doing business, you got to look at your contract. You got to take a look at where your costs are. Some things you can't project, but they happen. And that's just about doing business. Just like if you're running a tennis shoe factory and you had all the control over the tennis shoes, you had them going quality control and all that, but you didn't make the laces. And your laces weren't coming as fast as you was making your tennis shoes. And so you're losing money because they're sitting there, you can't sell. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do all the scenarios, but I'm just want to let you know, in doing the business, there's line items. And you'll see here, I have a whole list of line items, and they're more detailed and broke down than this. And so every day you take a look at the miles you're driving. You take a look at the loaded miles and the empty miles. And the one thing I can guarantee that you need to do is keep your truck rolling. All right. So you're in your truck. You signed your contract. You're going down the road. You see your charges. As it is today, I'm blessed. I have two contracts. I have two clients. I have Swift and I have FedEx Custom Critical. I'm in the business 2 years. And so now with one, you keep your clients, and in order to do business, you had to have employees. One of the things I did in the beginning, I started out as being a mentor, and I started mentoring individuals who wanted to drive, sharing everything with them so they could be successful as you or myself in doing this business. And the whole idea is you find someone who wants to stay alive, enjoys the road, enjoys what they're doing, then you can pull them on to, hey, you know what? Let's team up, build them, get them good, get comfortable with so y'all are like-minded and getting down the road. Pay them to make them happy. Pay them to keep them on the truck, and then create a team out of that. And then you have to trustworthy. If you take care of people, people are going to help take care of. If the people know you care, then they're going to be faithful And they're good, and you got to understand that they have dreams, they have a wife, they have family, and things that they want to do. Not everybody wants to go in business, but they want to be able to support their family. So you can do the best you can openly and say, hey, this is what I can pay. And owner operators with the Swift Corporation have an elite status. They have a status of first choice on loads. As long as your record is clean, you're going to do well and stay running. And so with with that, you also got to understand that that same person you hired, and I'll tell you this, I had a guy, mentored him, got him on the road. He never went into as a company driver with Swift. He stayed with me on the truck, and I mean, about 8 months was just doing wonderful. Had some plans. I put another person in the truck with him. He had a fiance or wife that was going to come on and go to school and drive to, and they were going to team up. And I was just going to shift that one driver that was with him over to the other truck and let him drive in that truck and build the whole thing. I had a whole plan, but people changed their mind. He wanted to do better. He wanted to get his own truck. He wanted to bring his fiance and wife and them create their own thing, their own service. And you know what? I encourage anybody who wants to do better than what they're doing, because they're doing just like we want to, make the best out of it. So I said all this to say this, that people change. So you don't get to keep everybody, but you got to celebrate them as they go forward, because it's not personal, because it's things that they want to do to exceed. So long as you're helping other people, you know, I've been blessed by the, I mean, God, I think maybe over 12 people I've mentored. I have one, two, three of them are owner operators. One of them I mentored. He went to another company, JP Hunt, then brought him over. Now he's got his own business, his own truck that he bought from the bank, and he's doing business. He's over there that's at FedEx, and he's got his own contract direct with them. And that's just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. And I celebrate that success with him. So, you know, you can't hold people back just to work for you. But what you do is when they come to work for you, you help them to put them in a position to where they can be successful if they go on their own. Or they're just going to hang out with you and drive. So it's a win-win. I don't know what else to tell you about it, but I'll get back into the numbers. Your fuel cost is going to be about, if you want to try to keep it at 25 to 30%, which is hard. It's difficult, but you can do it if you stay on top of your fuel as an owner operator. Like I said, I did $98,000 in fuel, and the other high item costs was the insurances. The insurances are a real cost. So right now I'm keeping about a third of, as in what they call in cash flow. As you do want to do this, you want to create an LLC or with an S corporation, and that way you can keep record of what you have on top of all the other benefits it is to it. You want to create a 2-year solid revenue taxation that you want to have somebody else do your taxes. Don't do your own taxes. Don't do your own books. Swift has a company called, they use ATPS, wonderful folks. They are not Swift, but they do have access onto it, and they keep you on track. They give you what they call as a cost breakdown. So you know, and you need this information to know how much, how many miles you need for your break-even point. All right. They'll tell you what your fuel rebate has been. They'll tell you what your fuel cost has been and how much you've been using. That information is vital for you to continue to go and operate. I don't know how long I have been going, and I don't want to be over in time. And I don't want to be, I may erase this and do a whole nother one that is systematically. So I talked about us. The experiences I talked about, looking at becoming an owner op. In this 21st century, I'll say this, and then we'll close out with this here, that trucks today, I don't know why, I can't think of a reason to buy a truck outright. I can't think of a reason to go through all these trucks, and buy a truck and pay straight out cash for it. This same truck might just take my 2016. That thing is 2000, there's $140,000, early 148. In 2 years, it'll be down to 100,000. 3 years, it'll drop down to 90. 4 years will be in the 80s. 4 years from that, total being 8 years old, it's not going to be worth anything about $40K, almost zero. You can buy a brand new truck for, $30,000. Not brand new, but less than 1 million miles. And 1 million miles is 100,000 mile mark on a car. So these trucks run for millions of miles if you keep up with them, and they keep going. So I want to encourage you to consider in the 21st century, and you'll hear some people, I've been driving 20 years, I've been driving this. The 21st century is the time of e-logs, is the time of lease, and until we get a handle on a lot of the things with the EPA, a lot of things like, for instance, in California, I think if you have anything older than 2005, and you can't bring it into the state. Maybe there was some adjustments have been made. You can with the DEF system, the fuel exhaust system on there. But I know with FedEx, if you have anything 2005 or older, older than the 2005, you can't bring that truck on. So with leasing, at least for at this point, for me, I'd rather take that cost on rather than writing off the depreciation every year or depreciation of a truck. I can only do so many times, but on the lease payment, I can write it off every year. You need to write off, else you're going to pay the taxes on it. Even though my cash flow is only about $112,000, I'm responsible for the whole $300K. So you need to write off. So I hope this has helped a little bit. I hope I can give me some feedback. If I can narrow some things on back, I'll come back with owner op in the 21st century part 2 or something like that. This has been very general. Email me, ask questions, and I'll do my best to be a help. I hope this helped you. It's been a plum picking pleasure, and you guys keep it between the lines. Bye-bye.